All right, for those of you who have joined, thank you so much. Some more people are coming in, but as they do, I'm just going to do some super quick housekeeping. Um, First things first, my name's Kate Leonard. If you haven't been on a prior info session with us, I'm Digital Marketing Manager at NextCore, which is the nonprofit administrator of the Luminate Accelerator. Why are we here today? We are here because Luminate applications are open for Cohort 9. We on the Luminate team could tell you why to apply, but it really is great to be able to hear from other tech founders, those like those you're about to meet today. So a few things to note. Yes, this session is being recorded, so you will get that recording in your inbox either later today or first thing tomorrow. I know some people are joining from different time zones, so this time might not be ideal. You can review that recording if you have to drop off or anything. It is scheduled for 1 hour, so we will try to wrap up and be prompt at exactly 1 hour. As you're going to see, this is pretty informal, right? We don't have a formal presentation. We don't have any slides. It's really just us talking. If you have a question for Veronica or for myself or for any of the panelists you see here, you can just hit the Q&A button and drop that question there. Chat is disabled for attendees. I can chat you. You can't chat me, but you can drop a question in any time using the Q&A button. If it's for someone, just flag who it is. Like Rahul, I've got a question for you. Rajesh, I've got a question for you. That would be great. Okay, I also want to share that we have one more info session coming up, and it's in the new year. It's January 6th. The link to register is in the chat already. Same time, 1 p.m. Eastern, same time as this one, and it's just a few days before our application deadline, which is on January 12th. So that session, that last session on the 6th, is all about tips for making your application stand out so you can increase your chances of getting accepted into Luminate. It's also a great opportunity to get any last minute questions that you have about the accelerator answered. So yeah, and all of that information again is in the chat. So right now, brief introductions. My colleague Veronica Lucurcio, she's Luminate's Director of Operations. She'll be leading today's panel discussion, and we are joined by 4 graduates of Luminate's last cohort, Cohort 8. So we have Qing with SNOChip, we have Rahul with amPICQ, we have Rajesh with Oblate Optics, and Tal with Pensievision. They're going to say hello in just a moment. Luminate invests $100K into each company that's accepted into the program at the very beginning, and then there's $2 million in follow-on funding available at the end. And everyone here on the call received some follow-on funding, so I'm sure we'll be talking about that a little bit more in a bit. So with that, that's my spiel. I'll come back for Q&A. Again, use that anytime you'd like, and take it away, Veronica.
Thank you, Kate. Great start. Hi, everyone. As Kate mentioned, I'm the Director of Operations for Luminate Accelerator, and we're very appreciative that you've joined us today. Do not hesitate to ask questions along the way. Kate is monitoring the chat. And with that, we're going to get started right away. Tal, would you like to introduce yourself, your name, your company, and what it is that you do?
Yes, hi everyone. Welcome to the info session. My name is Tal Almog. I'm in San Diego right now where it's 80 degrees outside. So sorry for everyone suffering from cold weather. Don't want to rub it, but I always do still. I'm the co-founder and president of Pensievision. I've been a serial entrepreneur. This is my third company. And, as we'll talk about, following, you'll see that even for someone like me, I found a lot of value in the program and what it offers. Pensievision is developing 3D imaging technologies for various industries, from manufacturing 4.0 to medical devices and aerospace. We developed a single lens precision 3D imaging devices that use astronomy techniques and AI to develop those 3D images. And yeah, happy to share my experience and talk a lot more about what I learned, the benefits, and all the rest. Thank you.
Thank you, Tal. Rajesh?
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. My name is Rajesh Menon. I am an entrepreneur, similar to Tal, a serial entrepreneur, but I also happen to be an academic. I'm one of the founders of Oblate Optics. Oblate Optics is commercializing meta lens-based flat optics for laser applications, laser processing. We are probably one of the first to bring inverse design flat optics to the market. our meta lenses are now available on standard optics catalogs like Edmund Optics. So if you're ever interested in using meta optics, please go and check them out. You can just Google Oblate Optics and Edmund Optics. We will also be at Photonics West. So if you're attending Photonics West, please come say hi. Um, I cannot recommend the Luminate program enough. I think for me, coming from academia, although even though I had some entrepreneurial experience, going through the Luminate program was extremely useful. Every time we attend the meetings in person or online, I learned something new. So to me, it was an extremely good investment of my time personally and also our company's resources. This is, even not considering the investment they put in. I'm just talking about just the resources and information and the connections and the networks that's provided.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Rochester, yeah, sorry, go ahead. I will stop here, but feel free to ask later.
Thanks, Rajesh. Qing?
Hi everyone, my name is Qing. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of SNOChip. I'm in New Jersey. It's quite cold here. SNOChip design and manufacture metasurface-based optic components. Myself, I have been working in the photonic industry for 30 years, more than 30 years. And the SNOChip is my second experience, startup experience. My feeling about the Luminate program is a tremendous help, even though I'm pretty experienced in the industry. I have done a startup in the past, and still I benefit tremendously from the program. I'm happy to answer any questions from the audience.
Thank you, Qing. And Rahul, please introduce yourself, your company, and what it is that you do.
Hi, this is Rahul. I am one of the co-founders and COO of amPICQ. At amPICQ, we design and develop photonic integrated circuits, mainly for quantum applications. The current one that we're working on is called quantum key distribution. It's basically a secure encryption method, which is responsible for protecting communication between end-to-end links. So that's what we do. And we were founded in 2022. We have a presence in 4 countries, and Rochester is where our headquarters is.
Thank you, Rahul. All right, well, let's get into it. So right off the bat, I'd like to ask Tal. Tal, why did Pensievision apply to Luminate?
Okay. Yeah, so we've heard about Luminate from one of our board of advisors member who is a distinguished engineer, and he always said like that, you should probably apply to Luminate if you're in the photonics and imaging business. He said at the time that it was very competitive, so he said like, no, it's a long shot, but why don't you try? And here we are today, so it was well worth it. But we were really looking for the guidance. So, me and my co-founders have a lot of like, business experience and experience in what we did, but we really were looking for that expertise, connections, being prepared for investment, and being really part of that ecosystem that I think Luminate is very, very in the center of. So we wanted the help like from an accelerator that is specifically for imaging and photonics, and that can help us, take our startup to the next phase.
Thanks, Tal. And something for everyone to understand. Tal, why don't you share with everyone what almost didn't happen?
Yeah, yeah, no, that was a funny story that I was sharing with Veronica. But when we actually, got selected to the second round to the interviews, I was at the time abroad, like traveling, and I was on vacation and didn't have access to my email. And I saw more and more like LinkedIn notification, and every day I get 50 of those, so I didn't pay attention. But one evening I was sitting and I'm opening the LinkedIn and I see a message from Veronica, but I was trying to reach you by email, by phone, by all measures. And it's the last chance. If you're not interested, let me know because there's other candidates. And I was like, how do I? It was the middle of the night, like it was the middle of the night in the US. And I said, how do I let her know that we are interested and we're so excited? And so we almost lost the opportunity. And I remember getting back there and saying, this might be, a good story to tell that the persistence and like that she had obviously like saved the day by really insisting. And I think it was again like 20 emails or so that she sent, and we applied, we got in, and we won first place. So that's like a great story, I think.
Yeah, it's an excellent success story. All right, thanks, Tal. Rahul, can you share with us what specific challenge or opportunity was amPICQ hoping the Luminate program would help with?
So when we were applying, the program was actually recommended by one of the other companies which were a part of the previous cohort, and when we were applying, we were in a position of still finalizing what our expansion strategy was going to be, and Luminate eventually became our market entry strategy. And now we have relocated our headquarters to the US, to Rochester. So that was the sort of problem we were trying to solve at that point, and Luminate came through.
Yeah. Jane, why did SNOChip apply to Luminate?
So SNOChip started 2022. Nobody knows us because we didn't make any noise. We were pretty quiet. We work in a stealthy mode, focus on the technology development, working on the government contract. And we feel we are ready to launch our product, to engage with the customer, engage with the market. And we need a lot of help from finance, from pitch deck, from business model, many things. So Luminate is really is a good fit to help us to prepare that.
And you did a great job, Jane. Rajesh, you were one of the most active people in cohort 8. So this question is appropriate for you. What aspects of Luminate did you find most valuable from the program, whether it be mentorship, curriculum, networking, or funding?
Thank you, Veronica. Yeah. I would say the most valuable aspect of it is the Luminate team and the next core team, in my opinion, because as Tal alluded to, I think there is a lot of passion and involvement from the Luminate team to make us all successful. So I really appreciated the sincerity and the passion around that. So I think we all fed off that. So to me, I would say that's the number one. And perhaps a closer a number two aspect is what is more relevant to our company, which was being connected to the laser manufacturing industry, which we were not connected to. So through the Luminate mentors, some of the most amazing people that I've met, we got connected to this ecosystem, which turned out to be even more important than I had originally anticipated. So I can keep going, but I will stop.
Thanks, Rajesh. Thank you for that. Okay, let's go with this question, and I'll ask Tal. So, Tal, what surprised you most about the program? Was there anything you didn't expect that ended up being crucial for Pensievision's growth?
Yeah, honestly, what surprised me the most is how much I learn, right? When you go into a program, everyone thinks they know everything. I really came like, I'm like a student wanting to just like get as much as I can. And I was surprised by how much I thought I knew and I didn't, especially in that industry. And also what surprised from actually being in Rochester, like Rochester is considered the capital of imaging and photonics. Uh, it's where like Xerox and the Kodak were based, and I think many people forget that it's still really the capital of imaging and photonics. So I was, surprised by that. I didn't know at all like that, the city or what it offers, but from design, industrial design services, contract manufacturing, clients. So we found there really an ecosystem, and my co-founder and CTO is actually in Charleston right now. Is moving with his family, and we're moving basically the entire company to Rochester because we just realized that you need to be there if you want to be successful in particular this industry. So yeah, those are the two things. How much I will learn, which was really a lot, and we can get to it later, and also like how great and how important is Rochester to the overall imaging and photonics ecosystem.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm just going to jump in here. Great discussion so far. I think because you've just mentioned what everyone does here, with Veronica's first question, explaining your companies. For the audience, definitely feel free to drop in a question using the Q&A button at any point. I wanted to interject with one question that has come in around your businesses. So have any of you participated, have any of the presenters here primarily focused on selling exclusivity rights from their tech, as opposed to creating manufactured product for sale?
Not
This is one of
SNOChip.
those jump in anybody. Yeah, there you go. No one?
Yeah, I think if we talk about licensing, so we have product, but we also like, for medical, we're actually licensing our technology. So, that too, part of the Luminate program, there's also, courses and reviews of IP. So actually every company go through IP review with like an expert, with expert people that will also probably be on your advisory board from Luminate. So, that's definitely something that came up, helped us a lot, like, look at the differences between licensing. We have like a few patents, but between that and trade secrets and what should be the strategy and approach. I know that Luminate, and maybe that's something that, Kate and Veronica can talk about, is looking also for how to bring more like, the IP considerations, like more like strategizing it together with the economies of scale and with the power of all the portfolio that's now like large. But definitely that's something that really focused us and helped us. And yeah, and Pensievision sells both like completed products to manufacture, but we also license our technology to medical device manufacturers. So yeah, that was definitely helpful as well.
Thanks, Tal. Anyone else want to add?
Yeah, I think exclusive license, that business model is not suitable for everybody. As Tal mentioned, once you discuss this with the mentors, go through certain analysis, you will naturally come to a conclusion. For SNOChip, our conclusion for now, we're not taking that options.
Excellent. Okay, Rahul, how has your company evolved since starting the program?
So I can talk about a few key advancements that have happened since Luminate, right? So we were able to relocate our headquarters. That's a big one, and we also uh, we have a market entry strategy for one of our key products, which is quantum key distribution along with post quantum cryptography algorithms. So it's a hybrid hardware plus software solution. We could successfully come up with a plan to do so, and with the help of the mentors at Luminate, we could also file 7 patents in the US. So and we've also gotten a lot of VC interest post Luminate for our next fundraise. So I think these are our key advancements since Luminate.
Thank you. And since you mentioned mentors, something that I'd like to chat about for our entire program, each team that is selected, and we select 10 into each cohort, each team is paired with particular mentors from our advisory board and our mentors. And I was just a general question for everyone. How do you feel your mentors assisted you in the Luminate program? And Tal, I'd like to start with you, please.
Yeah, the mentors are amazing. You'll see those are people that, it's very hard to get their time. It's people that, you would want on your advisory board if you could, from CEOs and others. And for us, it was very, very helpful. Basically, one of the mentors really got us into an LOI at Genoptic for licensing our technology to them when they contract manufacture to medical devices and the scopes to other companies. So for us, it really brought us great success. And also, I didn't know much about licensing for medical devices, and one of the mentors was a CEO in a company that's basically what they do. So we got exactly, what we should ask and what should be the pay structure and all that. So it was, very, very relevant, and you need to do your part, right, and chase them and try to get them together and separately. But if you do, you'll gain a lot of advice, knowledge, and actually connections to clients, customers, investors, etc.
Thank you. Rajesh, what about you?
Yeah, I think the mentors are probably, as I mentioned before, probably the second most important thing, in my opinion, for us. We had we were assigned, let's say, about 5 mentors, if I recall right, and roughly half of them were a little bit too busy to really, just to be honest, to be helpful. They were helpful, but not as engaged. But half of them turned out to be incredible. In fact, we have one of them joining our board of directors, and they were responsible for really connecting us into the ecosystem that we wanted to be connected to. As Tal was saying, a lot of these ecosystems, if you're not part of it, it can be very opaque. So having someone who has a lot of experience and some credibility in some industry which you are not familiar with is, of course, extremely important, because it opens doors for you, gets introductions, and you still have to do your legwork. But having a mentor kind of walk you through it, take the time because of Luminate to walk you through the steps is incredibly valuable, I would say. Perhaps, like I said, the second most valuable thing, if I were to list after the Luminate team.
Thank you, Rajesh. Kate, I see we have some questions.
Yep, I was just looking for a good time to interject. The one question that has come in, and Rahul has mentioned that amPICQ moved their headquarters, but the question is, has anyone here on the call come from abroad? And plenty from the Luminate portfolio are non-US companies. In this particular group, I believe amPICQ is the only one that came from abroad, but maybe you can talk more, Rahul, about how Luminate supported entering the market.
So along with the mentors, the program was structured in a way that we were introduced to lawyers and experts in company law as well. So with the help that was received, we could implement something called as a flip. So we simply emulated the same pattern that we have in India in the US. And so Luminate in general, there's a lot of tech advice that you get. You get advice on patents and all the other things that the guys have mentioned. And when it comes to legal stuff as well, Luminate definitely helped.
Thank you.
Just to clarify one thing, Kate, I think you said one of the panelists, I think, is from abroad, but actually from the cohort of 10, there were only 3 US companies, and actually the 7 were not from the US. So I think
Yeah, and I think that was one of our the last cohort was kind of the more US leaning than we've had. We've had different mixes each year. I believe last year was almost, or cohort 7 was 50-50, Veronica. So it definitely is a mix, and we accept companies from all over the world.
That's correct. The furthest last year being from Seoul, Korea. So we are a global program. So do not hesitate to apply if you are abroad. Okay, I have a question for Chain. How did Luminate improve your ability to secure investment, partnerships, or any other resources?
So first of all, I think I benefit a lot. Learn how to pitch. Well, when I say learn how to pitch, I mean how to do effective pitching. You have to understand the audience. You have to have the ability to convey the message, to tell a story. Luminate coach, especially Damon, I really appreciate. They have seen so many startup companies, right? And they are so experienced. I basically benefit tremendously by listening to their advice and did the rehearsal and did many modification, addition, revisions of my pitch deck. So when I look back at the beginning and at the end, my pitch deck is so different. It's so different. So that's one aspect. Second is Luminate provide the opportunity to get us exposed to the investment community, especially in the optics. Right? There are so many pitch sessions, and Luminate has a good influence. After we graduate, I'm still getting calls from investors all over the world, which I don't even know them, right? But they heard us from Luminate. Either they saw the news or watched the Luminate finals. That's a really good exposure for SNOChip. Now also very critical things is the due diligence. I think we all know how to do it, but to do it systematically, do it efficiently with Luminate help, that's really good, right? So I can think of these three areas. So we really appreciate the process done by the Luminate.
Thank you, Jane. Rahul, question for you. Which connections have had the biggest impact for amPICQ?
So one of the topics that I didn't cover earlier was that we could move our supply chain network to the US, mainly to New York, Rochester, and Luminate was very crucial in us doing that. So now, earlier we used to go to Europe and other places for our manufacturing and packaging because chips is what we develop, right? And the supply chain or the ecosystem in the context of compound semiconductors is very complicated, and we had issues with export control everywhere. So now, with the help of Luminate, we could find relevant manufacturing partners in the region, and we go to fab. We send our chips to fab and packaging and measurements, testing, all that in New York. So I think that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you. Rajesh, from a curriculum perspective, what curriculum stood out to you the most? What was most beneficial for Oblate Optics?
Yeah, I would say the vast majority of them were very useful. The things that come to mind are, things that I was not familiar with. So being a technical person, I was not familiar with things like go-to-market strategy, marketing, sales, things like that. So really getting some systematic understanding of the procedures that should be followed in order to make our marketing efforts, sales efforts more efficient. I think those were quite eye-opening for me personally. I also really like the intellectual property discussions. I mean, I don't want to call this as like a coursework. It's more of a discussion because we had one-on-ones and lots of value from these sorts of discussions. In addition to that, I would also point out the connections with the local industry was very, very interesting in addition to the educational aspect. I would call that education as well because it was more really trying to understand what the resources available locally that we could take advantage of. And to me, that was also quite useful. A very efficient way to really understand what the ecosystem is. I mean, if we were to do it without Luminate, that would have taken us a lot longer. This is what I wanted to convey.
Thank you, Rajesh. Kate, I see a question in the chat, and I'm going to ask maybe Anjali, if our financial analyst, Anjali Boria, could join us for this question. There may be some follow-on specific
I'm here.
financial questions. Thanks, Anjali. So I'm going to respond. There was a question in the chat that says, what stage companies are eligible for the Luminate program? And we're typically looking at companies that are either at seed or Series A. The secondary portion of that question says, how are pre-revenue companies operating in a regulated environment? And how are they evaluated? Anjali, can you help with?
Sure. Yeah. So pre-revenue companies are evaluated on multiple different factors, particularly their market traction, their financial projections, and the kind of capital that they've already raised, or has there been any recent technological development that they are trying to reach, recent milestones. So it is a very subjective question, and there's no written answer or written format to what we follow over here. It is from case to case basis. Um, Luminate is always open for negotiations. If you already have an existing round that is open, we are willing to look at the term sheet and figuring out if participating directly in that round makes sense for us. We have led rounds, but we would also happily follow any investment round that is going on. So I hope that I answered that question. If not, I'm happy to take it offline.
Thank you, Anjali.
Veronica, if I can add, I think from my perspective, one thing that it's important, and we actually declined some accelerators before because they were not open to negotiation. It's just like it typically, and I think most accelerators, just like a percentage that they take. And then it's a problem if you're a little bit more. Pensievision got like almost $5 million in government grants from NIH, NSF, and NASA. And so, you cannot compare it to a company that's just starting, for example. So I think one of the things that we really liked about it is that it's fair and, as Anjali said, open to negotiation and based on the actual facts rather than like just a percentage that might work for you or not. So I think that's another thing that's very fair and a reason it worked for us.
Thank you, Tal. We appreciate that. Tal, this question actually it's may be good for your help. There's a question that says, has Luminate provided sourcing locally, domestically for scaling? And there's another one that's similar that talks about do you come in with a specific market, or you're not market ready for product and you're still in design and building stage? And so, Tal, when Pensievision came to Luminate, you had a specific product in mind, and then there was a pivot. Do you mind sharing?
Yeah. So it's just not close to where we started the Luminate Accelerator. We really, all of our development and grants and all was around medical devices. And we just decided at some point that we don't want to become a medical device company because we're all technologists. The technology that we created is really a platform or core technology that could be used to anything requiring precision imaging. And medical devices are very, very different. To be a medical device company, you're talking about FDA and selling into clinics. And so it's very, very to particular applications. So it's not really what we thought we want to do or where the value is. And we thought of let's just do something that's more immediate. It doesn't require regulatory environments, which is like industrial inspection. So that pivot that we did, it's almost like we came to something new that we didn't know much about, and with Luminate, I think that's really it was almost like a startup within a startup, and so we got a lot of help. We got connections to manufacturers and lens manufacturers that actually can use our technology, and with them we work to develop our go-to-market strategy and plans, and also it really allowed us to refocus. There is another thing that's part of Luminate, which is called the regional showcase, where vendors and partners from the area come together, and we learn there about things that we can use in our products, about some vendors that can be our clients, since we're selling to any manufacturer. They're doing precision imaging and industrial inspection. So yeah, I think like coming actually with a fresh, so you don't have to have a solid plan, a solid go-to-market, because part of the courses, part of the work with the Luminate team and with the mentors is actually to fine-tune that. What I can say is that when you're out of Luminate, you'll have a solid, ready for investment strategy.
Thank you, Tal. And if anyone else would like to add, please do so. If not,
Yeah, Veronica, I will add a little bit. There's an event organized by the program. It's called the Photonics Tour. That's very, very good. So during that tour, cohort members was able to visit AIM, both at the Rochester and Albany facility, Optimax, Omega Optics, Saw Labs, Adamance. So effectively to introduce cohort members with the players, the big players in the ecosystem. That's very good. That's very helpful. Yeah.
thank you, Jane. Okay, a question for Rahul. What would you suggest applicants highlight on their application for Luminate? Is there anything in particular?
Yeah, I think, I mean, once we were in a part of the program, we understood the significance of Luminate and whatever NextCar is doing for the Rochester region in general. So, what I would do differently if I were to apply again is I would maybe try to explain the sort of resources that my company would need from the New York region. And I would also recommend mentioning what the companies that are applying also offer to the region. So I think this would maybe definitely make your application stand out.
Excellent. Rajesh, would there be any guidance for future applicants from your position? Perhaps any misconceptions or mistakes that applicants should avoid adding on their application?
That's a good question. So I would say if you have some clearly, if you have some key competitive advantage, unfair advantage, whether it's technology, market, or whatever, try to highlight that. This is, of course, important for any investor, but it's really hard to do it in a proper way. I don't think we did it properly, in my opinion, but try to convey the key advantage your approach has, whatever the technology, market, or anything else, manufacturing. But I just want to add one more thing to the previous question. So, and this is more US centric, but if any of you are working on technologies that are relevant to the US manufacturing ecosystem, whether it's commercial manufacturing or whether it's manufacturing relevant to national security, please, I would recommend highlighting this. Especially if you're doing some DoD work. There is a lot of infrastructure around New York and Rochester that Luminate can help you get connected to. This is, of course, important for a country, but also it is a way for you to distinguish what you're doing and how it can be applied for societal benefit, not just purely product marketing and revenue perspective, I should say. So hopefully that makes sense. I can also specifically point out Americom as a precision optics manufacturing company based in Rochester, which will be, they're a great resource that will be available to those of you who are interested in doing US-based manufacturing.
Thanks, Rajesh. One comment here for all of our audience members. We talk a lot about manufacturing, and that is because when you apply to Luminate and you actually are selected for the program, you get two accelerators for one, essentially. You get the Luminate Accelerator curriculum, which is 200 hours of curriculum, everything from financial modeling through and including IP strategy and investment. And in addition to all of the Luminate curriculum, you also have the opportunity to go through the Next Core Manufacturing Accelerator. And the Manufacturing Accelerator is incredibly helpful to all companies that are coming in. You'll see some people nodding. So if anybody would like to comment about the manufacturing curriculum, please do so. Jane, I see you nodding. Can you perhaps give us a little bit of insight?
Sure. Yeah. I think there is, at the beginning, there's a process, interview with the group to do a assessment on the MIL, manufacturing readiness level, and the potential path forward to increase that level. And during the course, of course, there are many trainings, related curriculum. And also at the end, there's assessment. I think that's very important. When you talk to investors, one of the questions they will ask you where you are in terms of TRL and MIL, right? And how do you know? So that assessment criteria is very helpful. I would say this kind of systematic approach, right, and with such a short period of time, is very efficient. It's very valuable. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving forward. Tal, why would you recommend the Luminate program?
Why not? I think this really should be like, I don't think that Luminate should be, selling too much the program because it's obvious. Something that can connect everything, another thing that surprised me is like the follow-up emails. I'm still surprised by how many people follow Luminate. And we didn't even have chance to talk about it, like Veronica and Kate and Anjali, but I think, we've got tens of follow-up like calls, emails, etc from people that I wasn't even aware are following Luminate. There's a great The Lens, a great newsletter, but it was like from a neurosurgeon in Mount Zion Hospital in New York that emailed us and said, "I'm following The Lens newsletter, and I see that you are a finalist. It was before we even won, and I'm doing this and this, and maybe we can do a collaboration." And we've met with him, and we're actually looking towards doing something in the future. You just need it in a level that's more miniaturized than what we can do today. But so, and others that I didn't even anticipate from different states, different. So I think everyone that wants to be in the know about imaging and photonics subscribes to this. And so, just by being there and being featured and part of the program, you're going to be featured in the Rochester newspaper and in others. So people really know about it and hear about it. And the following community of Luminate is very big. So I think, and then, another thing that I would say that connects also to the previous question, if you're only coming to get $100,000, which can be nice for every company, I wouldn't recommend just doing it for that. And also for the selection, and connects to the other question about how to apply. Any accelerator, they want to see that they can help you. If you come up and everything is perfect, right, and you think, oh, I have a perfect application, we know what we're doing, we have all the answers, we have the money, we have everything that we need, so why apply for an accelerator? So one of the things is that an accelerator really wants to know that they can help you. So those are my final tips, and really there's no reason not to join, because from all the elements. And I don't know if we have a question before at the end, but even the fun element. So it's not about like, it's work hard, play hard, but even the fun element of coming there. It was a highlight of every month for me, coming to Luminate, spending time with super smart people, most of them, if not all, smarter than me. So it was nice to walk among like people that are, esteemed scientists, especially me not being a scientist, and just the fun, going out to restaurants, bars, trivias, and also there's really thousands of reasons of why to join, and I can't find even one of why not to.
Thank you, Tal. We do like to work hard and we do play hard together as well. I think that's something that people don't expect when they come to the program is when they leave the program, they have a whole bunch of new friends and potential business partners. And it's something that we love to see internally. So thank you for that. Rajesh, what about you? Why would you recommend Luminate?
I would say for those of you who have a small company, you have an idea it is an opportunity for you to really think seriously whether, can you take your concept, assuming you're very early, into a real company. So as Tal was saying, invest a little bit of time to make a good application because there's no reason not to do it. It's your time, put in the effort if you're serious about making this into a real business. So I would say just do it. And even if you don't get in, just that exercise, and I tell this to my students, that exercise of thinking through that procedure is already valuable. It's an investment in yourself, right? I mean, you learn something. So I would say just do it. I mean, this is irrespective of all the advantages that we've already talked about. I mean, I cannot recommend the program enough I haven't participated in other accelerators, but from an optics and photonics perspective, it is something, if you're serious about building a real company, just do it and put in the effort to do it properly. This is the only advice I would say. I mean, I wish I had put in more effort. Sometimes I feel that way.
Oh, Rajesh, you were great. You were hitting the bricks. So thank you for that. Rahul, what about you? Why would you recommend the Luminate program?
So I think the guys have covered most of the reasons, but what I would say uh, is that picking the right accelerator is also quite important because before applying for Luminate, we had applied to many other accelerators in the US, uh, big ones, and they were offering, or they would invest in terms of offering design tools, help, mentorship, all that. But so we're all on the same page, Luminate invests in cash, right? So I think that's something to be happy about. But if there are companies or applicants looking to enter a new market, I think you should go for it. It's a no-brainer. So that's a that's a an addition to whatever the
Thanks,
guys
Rahul.
just. Yeah.
And Shane, last but not least.
Uh, I will share from my personal feeling now. I kind of miss this amount every week per month at the Rochester. It's like a vacation. So we're all busy. We're working the startup. We work day and night. But at the Rochester Lumini program, I don't think you have much pressure. It's like take a time off at the same time, learning and accomplish a lot. So if you look back, we had a 2 minutes video, right, done by Luminate. Really make SNOChip so professional, so presentable. And we had the acting class training with a coach, so I know how to pitch in front of investors. And we have a really polished pitching deck. We have well organized due diligence folder. We get a chance to expose so many investors, and we still have connections with a lot of uh, our cohort. We made a lot of new friends, and we connect with the photonics optics ecosystem locally, which we will probably never had the chance to do in a short period of time. And on top, you have a good opportunity to get a follow-up money, right? This cohort, 5 of the cohort members get a prize. So that means you also have at least $250,000 cash to you. So that, what do you need to ask for more? I think there's no reason not to apply, right? I hope
Thank
this
you.
shares some of the field perspective from different angle. Yeah.
And thank you so much, Jane. We appreciate your feedback, and we absolutely miss all of you. We are looking forward to seeing you very soon. There are 2 questions I'd like to address really quickly. Someone is asking about follow-up opportunities after post-graduation. So every single person that you see on the screen right now will be at Photonics West. They will be tabling with Luminate. So there are other opportunities. We're also looking forward to potentially holding a Luminate portfolio company reunion this year in October. So that's another, this is based on feedback from cohort 8. They said, we want to meet all of the other Luminate companies. We want as maximum exposure as possible. So they asked, and we are answering. We do accept and look for feedback all the time to improve. And there's one question about, does Luminate help potentially find some founders and team members? We can. It's not something that we do regularly, but we are seeing more and more requests for this. So we are starting to run a short list of candidates, fractional finance people, otherwise. So if you do have a need, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you and help you if possible. Kate, I think we are going to wrap it up.
We are, and I just wanted to say it was so nice getting, a plug for the lens, talking about the fun that we have as a team. It's been great hearing everyone's perspectives. I wanted to share that there are a few questions that are kind of more tech oriented in the chat or finance oriented in the Q&A that we did not get to. However, I think some of those questions may have been answered in our first info session, which was more of a general overview of the accelerator. So I would encourage you, if you're listening to this and you did not sit in on the first one, you can always view the recording. It's available on our website. So I just dropped the link in there for that. And then you obviously will be getting the recording to this session in your inbox as well. And then if there are more questions that weren't asked that are on your mind that you didn't get a chance to ask today about the accelerator, you can definitely please join our last info session on the 6th. But for me, this has been wonderful to sit in and listen, and I am personally excited about the reunion. I love that question about how everyone continues to stay connected. Definitely, there's a saying around here, once illuminate, always illuminate. So true, and we. All
So I
right,
think
are
Kate has
we
been.
good to go?
Yep. Thanks, Kate. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being here. And again, for the audience, any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.